Yeah, how are you, Marianne? I was surprised.
Hi,
How
hear
are
me?
you tonight?
Can
Oh,
you hear
hello
me?
po. Yeah, I can hear you loud and
Okay,
clear.
perfect.
Hello, magandang gabi po sa lahat. Kia ora to everyone. We're back again for another discussion, but disclaimer lang po, we're only sharing our personal experiences as a homeowner myself here in New Zealand, and of course, Marianne with experience as a realtor. Do we consider you as a realtor, eh?
Yes, it is a real turn. Yes, I did.
Just making sure of the words that I'm using. And of course, the things that we are sharing is just general information purposes only. And we are not even giving financial or legal advisors because we don't know your specific needs or your specific situations. Always
Yes.
seek professional advice for your case. Hey,
Yay.
there you go. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Ate. I'm so sorry for like to everyone that I missed out last week. It was a quite a good, celebration last week. One is that we had a dinner, company and team dinner, because one of our team is leaving for UK, and of course, celebrating my wins as well, Ate.
Yay! It's a celebration. Would you like to quickly talk us through that kind of celebration? Have you turned 1 year already in that company?
Yes, so I turned 1 year on the 2nd of April. So it's just this month. Yeah. That was a quick one. So celebrating po is that so I've been with Frightway since April of last year, which is 2nd of April last year I started.
Ang
I still have
galing.
some listing that time, right? Ate? So I still have
Ay, oo
Slim with
nga.
Just Bean. Yes, I still have some listing up until we ended up renewing the contract. Then I had to leave Ray White as well. I have to I think REA is now asking me to renew my license, and then I have to still kind of
Yes.
hold it.
Are you renewing it every year? Or
Yes, Ate. So being a realtor, even though because you already have a license, so even though you left real estate and you're taking a break, so you either suspending it. So me, I am voluntarily suspending mine because I'm taking a break from the real estate world. And so I have to pay. I still have to pay because then it means that you can easily just go back to real estate anytime I want to go back. So come back. And then but there is also an option that you really want to just not want to renew it anymore. So like mine, I still have hopes. There's still some, some of my love for, serving my vendors and my buyers is still inside my heart, but it's still just a little bit more. I'm still resting.
yay! Oh, congratulations once again for success. Another success chapter of your life.
Yes.
You will always find
Yes.
something interesting here in New Zealand, something that will spark your interest into different ways. But yep, I'm so happy for you that you've turned, ang bilis ng
Mhm.
panahon, you've turned 1 year already.
Yes,
That's
so
really
1 year in the company and a promotion already.
Yes, yes. I've noticed it here that the growth is quite fast because it's fast moving in New Zealand. Internet is fast. People go around so fast, not only within New Zealand but also overseas. Anyway, our topic. Our topic is another. Should we say something that we need to take to have a
Into
look at.
consideration.
Oh, take into consideration. Thanks for that. Kasi sinasabi na an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Prevention
Yes.
is always better than cure. But how can you prevent, especially when you're buying a home? Something that you should look carefully into is, where's my banner? I'm trying to show it up. The building LIM actually, and building reports. What's a LIM? Ito yung
Yes. What is a limb? I
document.
think a lot of our clients who we have some,
Mm.
have an experience. buying a property. And in New Zealand, it's not like Philippines or anywhere in Asia. I'm not sure with other places, but I know that they have clients from other places, other countries in Asia. They don't really have the same thing as us, you know. So New Zealand has land information memorandum. So that's the meaning of LIM.
Lim.
Yeah. So very important to consider it. Why, ate? I know you know this because you have experience of buying a house.
Yeah, we've actually requested two limb reports. I think the first one was already when we looked at the house and we greatly consider buying it. The limb report was already available. So it's good because if it's not available, you can request it, you'll have to pay. That's the thing.
Yes.
Oh
So
no,
depende.
the first one wasn't actually available, so we requested it. The second one was available and we were just thankful that we don't have to buy another one. To
Yes,
request for it.
to request
So the
another one.
first one we paid for around $300 during that time, 2020,
Mhm.
because we liked the property. And then we found out so many things about it. Like
Yes.
what can we find in the limb reports?
Yes. There's a lot of things at the very just going back a little bit. So like what you've said, ate. So in your experience, there's one available, there's not available one. So in different properties. So this is depending on the method of sale of the property that you guys are looking at. So if your property has gone through auction, then that is because auction is a very quick unconditional sale. So once the hammer hits the hammer
Mm,
hits the table of the auctioneer, then it means it's unconditional, meaning your due diligence should be done days prior to the auction.
before that.
So that's the reason why. So Ate's property might have gone through auction before it went price by negotiation when you got it, Ate, no? So is it price by negotiation or asking price?
It was asking price, but we didn't go ahead. Our banks wasn't happy for us to go ahead with it because of the many red flags
Yes, so
from
that's
the
the one
limb
that
report.
has the the LIM report, right, Ate? That's
The
the
one
one.
with the
Yeah,
limb report. Oh no,
yeah.
no limb report for that one. No limb
Oh,
report.
that's the one that you purchased the LIM report, requested the
Yes.
LIM report.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's according to so with method of sale. So if you guys are looking around properties right now, so like me, I'm actively looking as well. So still looking.
Mm,
And there are properties that if you see it, the agent, if you're, let's say, watch listing a property, so you put it on the watch list, and then it went because you didn't want to offer because it's auction, like you don't want to go through that stress or to that like gut wrenching feeling when you go through auction. You wait for it, so you wait for it to get passed in. Those houses that gets passed in through auction, they will always have LIM report. So vendors
accurate.
will pay. Yes, vendors pay for the LIM report. But any other method of sale, so say tender, deadline, price by
Asking for
negotiation, if that's the original, is asking price, if that's the original method of sale, it is the purchaser's cost to order LIM reports.
mm. Yes, now I remember because it's been like almost 5 years ago. So the second property we looked at, the one that we bought and we're staying in, has gone through auction. And that's why it didn't go through auction. They called us back, the agents called us back if we're still interested, and the limb report was ready for us to
Already
have a look.
available.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But
Why is
ano
it important?
yeah, these are the things that we can find in the limb report. Do I need to show it? I've got it ready, but no, maybe not. Do you think it's okay to show limb report on public? I think I've shared this once before.
Yes, LIM report is pretty much a public record. If you are interested
Mm,
on the property, say like yours, Ate, you will have it because you put your property for sale as well. You've gone through that method as well before, so you would have
mm,
yours available. You would have already, or your agent would have already given that to the public to get at least all the information that they need in that on your property.
yeah.
So pretty much you can kind of share, just maybe blank your like
Oh
Um,
no, my details are still here. I can't blur it.
that's why.
Or I can
But
just quickly go through it. Or it won't really
yes.
matter, will it?
Doesn't really matter, but I think at the it's quite good that I think with me, what I love about working as a buyer's agent and even a vendor's agent, like most of public at it, they don't really understand what is a LIM report and what's the significance of having a LIM report. Um
Mm,
LIM
mm.
report really helps a lot of buyers, especially here in New Zealand. We're like maybe 60% of New Zealand is water,
Yeah.
and yeah, and everywhere, no matter how good your area is, like let's just say Remuera, Newmarket, those were the ones that actually went on the worst flood. 2019 was that 2019 and 2022 when it
2020.
flooded,
Yes.
remember? And
2022.
those were the areas that didn't even show flood zone, which LIM report will tell you flood zone. But if your property, LIM report will also show
Yeah,
flood.
already showing it.
So there, oh
Just a portion
yes,
of it. Yeah, so
yes.
this is just an example. This was requested when we put our property on sale last 2023.
Mm.
And s- why do you have to request it every now and then? That's my question, actually. Mm.
It
Like, when you want to
well
sell it.
because at it like
Are
LIM
there
report
changes?
expires. Yes, LIM report
Mm.
expires. The reason behind that is that let's just say I'll give an example of a property that I sold in Papakura. So one of the property that I sold in there with Jay, my colleague Jay Singh, that one it has a resource consent. So LIM
Mm.
report will show if a property for sale has consents that are approved by the council. So, but
Ah,
then consents, yeah, and consents will expire as well. So I think I'm not sure now on the top of my head. I think maybe
I
two
think I
years or
agree with you.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
and
there
then
might be changes over time, so you want it to be updated. You want to get the updated version of the LIM report. Say you've added
yes,
a construction there, like in our case.
yes,
If it is consented, it will reflect in the LIM report. If it's not
yes,
consented, it will not. So that's one thing. When you see a structure in the site and it doesn't reflect in the LIM report, of course, that's understandable that it's not consented. Hey.
yes. I think I'm just gonna put into like in addition to that, ate. So I know LIM report is very important, but me as a very very diligent buyer's agent, sometimes most of the time, if I'm really really wanting to help my buyers, I also request for a property file. So property file
Yes, it's not
can
a
be in
bad.
conjunction with your LIM report. So most of the time, I also listed the property like that. So me, even as a vendor's agent, I'm very diligent as well. So if it's going to an auction, I would want the best price for my vendor, and I would want be my to be my
To be fair to
buyers to
the,
be very
yeah,
informed. Yes, to be
yeah,
very
yeah.
informed, and they know what they're going to do. They know
Mm,
what they're getting into. Sorry, they're getting
yes.
into. So a house that I sold in Clark's Beach, that pretty much the house doesn't have a consent. So everything in the house doesn't have consent, and good thing I requested for a property file. That's only like $180 that time. So property
Okay.
file is quite cheaper than LIM report. But the reason why for me LIM report and property file are in conjunction that can help purchasers and vendors even to get
Mm,
more in depth. And you know how alam mo kung ano yung magiging ano sa'yo, ate. Alam mo yung parang ako, the reason why I apply for property file is to ready myself how to answer in advance future questions of the buyers. So, say
mm.
there was a house that I sold and there was a toilet downstairs, but then in LIM report it won't show. It won't show that there's consent and everything like that. So for me, in
Ah,
conjunction with that, I applied I requested for a property file $180 during that time, and then I checked the full floor plan, including materials that was used in building the dwelling. Everything is in property file. If something is not consented, it will also show there because you will see the total floor plan is different from the one that you're looking at right now.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've seen that property file, but I don't remember if I have one. Anyway, going back to LIM report, ito yung example niya. The top one was about built environment. So the LIM report is more on the area, not just the
Yes,
property, but the
yes,
surrounding area as to
yes.
what can impact to your the maintenance of your property. Say for example, this one is controls, but I don't specifically know what that is. You might
So
be able to.
controls ate will mean the things that you can only do in the property. So if you go down a little bit in
Ito,
there, it shows
maybe this one.
yeah, so it will show legends in there.
Yeah,
So
all the way at the bottom,
yeah,
the legends. We can have a
yeah,
look later. And this one will
yeah.
show something about designations or yes. What really was I looking for when I checked the LIM report were the if it's a flood zone area. I think nandito yan.
Yes. Yes,
This
and
one
I
is
think
natural
further down.
resources. This one is the precinct, mga presinto,
Mhm.
but we're far away, so yeah. And this one is the zones and rural urban boundary. So we're next to the park. The green one means that is owned by
Yes.
the government,
Council.
by the
Yes.
council. So this is the legend,
Yes.
notations and
And
the zoning.
also if you it's quite a big
There's more.
document. It will always have an explanation ate on each
Mm,
meaning, like each
yes.
section. So they will always have an explanation in there.
And this one here is the underground services.
Yeah, so those are the stormwater and the wastewater.
Yeah. And the hazards. So far it's clear. So that means we're away from
Mm,
hazards, natural hazards, the coastal
mhm.
erosion. So it's good if it tells you if you're close to, say, erosion, like, if you're close to the cliff. I don't want to buy a house next to the cliff or not even near the beach because I know the water is taking
Mm.
few centimeters each
Yeah,
year. That's what I've heard.
yeah.
There's also like coastal inundation. I don't know what that is, but so far we're safe. This is my main concern when we were looking at it. Natural hazard, which is flooding. We're just
Yes.
thankful that in 2022 and even recently there's another flood in somewhere in Auckland here, but not in
Yeah.
this area. Ito yung area ng may flood possibilities, but so far our area is right here, so we're safe. This is the cul-de-sac, so it's kind of
Mm, mm.
high. The water was high when there was a storm here in Auckland in 2022, right? The one that you mentioned,
Yes, that one. Yes,
but
ate.
it didn't reach our property, so it's just out there by the cul-de-sac.
So you see those little dots ate, the light dots?
Which
That one.
one?
So those are flood
This
path.
one?
Yeah, there. Yes.
Yeah, this one I
But
think.
there's still a flood path in there, even on the
Mm,
Templeton place somewhere there, Templeton.
this is the
Flood
cul-de-sac here.
path.
I think there's a drainage system here. So, when too much
Yes.
rain, it's obviously,
There's, if you look
yeah,
go back at it to the services, it will show if there's storm water in there. So you know how the services. So green will be stormwater, red is wastewater.
okay. So, ito is the
There you
green.
go.
So, ito
Yeah,
siya
so
sa
that means
labasan.
there's
That's the stormwater.
there's those stormwater.
Dito rin siya, the stormwater. That's why it's blue here. So, flooding. Because,
Yes.
daanan
Yes.
talaga yun ng tubig eh.
Yes,
Not
ate. So
water.
those you can see all those services is available on those area.
May mga bahay dito eh. So, they're probably getting, yeah,
So
soaky.
houses, the good thing about a house, a property with a service that can be developed.
What do you mean?
So if I know that I missed out on our Filipino Filipino developer last week.
It didn't go
But
ahead. There
oh,
was a
it didn't
sudden.
go ahead.
I
Oh,
know it's a
well,
shame.
developers ate, would really want to buy a house, of course, if it's got land, but if the services are on site. So if you guys see all these, property for sale on Trade Me and stuff, and they always agents will say services on site, then it
Oh,
means they're opening up the marketing to the ads to investors, because investors can either subdivide it or
is that
develop
so?
it. Yes.
May mga things that we don't fully know that others have an idea about it. Oh, okay. But interesting. So flooding is a very important thing that you need to know about the area. Don't just buy it because it's beautiful. It might be a flood zone area. And here's another thing that I checked. Because we're close to the sea, and the impact of the sea water to your roofing, say for example, if it's
Yes.
iron. Sea spray, they call it. Sea spray, natural hazard sea spray. Yung uh, your iron roofing over time gets
Yes, corrosion. So
yeah,
it
that's
gets
the thing.
corrosion, yes.
Pero hindi
I
naman
think most houses that are close to the water, so like there are areas in Wattle Downs, Weymouth,
hmm.
because it's
What would
close to
be
the water.
what would be the ideal roofing for that? Shouldn't be iron. It should be
It should
bricks.
be yes, the tile.
But even though well, aluminum may be a tough one for your windows and doors, but try to
Yes.
avoid
So
steel.
if you drive around at the like beachlands and
Mm.
Beach Haven, Long Bay, those areas, you will kind of notice that their roofing are either the houses are either concrete and tile or brick and tile, weatherboard and tile, like those kind of houses. So the roofing are usually the clay tiles that you can see that goes like that. So um
Mm.
there are I know that there are newer materials now for roofing that kind of protects it from corrosion. See like with the
Oh,
sea spray.
mm.
I'm not sure if
Maybe,
it color steel. I think at the color steel.
okay. Maybe they're trying to create or invent something
Mm.
to protect the structure
Yes.
of your house. But still, I would greatly consider that, when you buy it. And then you can weigh up things better. But in our
Yeah.
case, we're just thankful hindi kami naabot ng sea spray. What else? Hazard volcanic cones. Nah, we're far away, so we're good. And others, that's pretty much it. And there are more.
Yeah.
I don't have time to look at it. But so
So if
far,
you
we're
go at the
okay.
on the beginning, like the first page, I think it's got a bit of a quick information of like a summary of the report.
I think so. I think this one,
So that's
residential,
kind of yeah.
unitary, operative in parts. And what
So
else we have
unitary
here?
is the yeah, those so I think the fraud information caveat encumbrances. I think encumbrances and caveat it will show on your title anyway. But if you go to the front page, their reference
Compliance.
number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
So
one.
there, see if you see that,
Building.
Ate, there was
Yeah.
CCC.
Yes.
Yeah, those ones.
So when it was built, it will
Issued.
give you an idea as well. And then there was a carport added in 1998 and more of it. So yeah, that's code compliance CCC. Mm.
Mm.
So
So that
initially
one.
it was from one big land and then
Yes.
subdivided. So our house is a cross lease. Our property is a cross lease one.
Mm. Is it half of part of how many shares, Ate? Is it just half a share?
Half
Like,
only.
that's good.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for my LIM report, as far as I can understand. The others are too much for me. So uh, it includes the resource consents, anything that's been
Yes.
added, the zoning information is very important, building permits, the CCC that you have seen, the flooding and erosion risk. And of course, the drainage and sewage layout, because in case you're going to build an
Mm.
extra toilet, you know where it is going to. Although you will
So
also be able to find that in your plan,
it is
property.
quite a lot of information, ate, but as well it's very worthwhile having and ordering it, because like I'm just gonna give an example. There are houses, say in Papatoy and Clover Park, that you cannot subdivide, or you cannot develop because it's on mana zone. Yours will
Mana.
be mixed housing suburban zone
Yeah.
without an overlay. So ours is mixed housing suburban zone without overlay. But say there are areas in Papatowi and Clover Park that are mixed housing suburban zone overlay with Mana zone or Hana zone. So those are um the Hana zone is like high what's this, aircraft noise area. So that's why you have to have, yeah, like Hana is it, you can't really subdivide it unless there's like a minimum size, like those kind of things. So like our buyers might want to buy and invest in a property thinking that they can subdivide the house because it's got a
Yeah.
big land, and then you didn't really know how to read the LIM report. And that is the reason why the important thing is to ask for due diligence with your lawyer. So tell your lawyer your plans on the house that you're purchasing, because then at least if you're planning, hey, say attorney blah blah blah, this house I'm purchasing, I'm really my the reason why I'm buying it's because in the future I want to subdivide it and build 2 or 3
Yeah.
houses. And then, yeah, and then the lawyer will see, oh, it's actually Hana zone. You can't subdivide it. Yeah.
So it's best to talk about that with. I didn't have any idea about that one. Anyway, moving on. Building inspection. It's this one is different from the LIM report. So we have the LIM
Yeah.
and we also have building reports. And Mary Ann also mentioned the what was that again?
Property file.
Property profile. So if you have ideas about this, you can ask. You don't have to. What do you call this? You don't know what to ask if you don't know what to ask. You can't
Yes.
ask what you don't know what to ask. I would like to share a screen, or which one should it be? Uh,
Are
I
you
meant
looking
to
for
share for the
sales and purchase agreement
building inspection.
or building
Supposed,
inspection? Yeah.
yeah, trying. I'll try to move this out so I can show it and see if that will work. Our building. Let me see a file. No, no, it's on my email. Let me check. Oh, yeah, good. Here. So I'll just make it bigger, maybe. Yeah? Is that good enough? So this was in, I think 2020 when yeah, we have to pay for it. Building inspection is done by yourself. You can't request that from the seller. You've got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So what did we find here? Moisture testing. It's all good. In the first one that we have done, itong mahirap when you eye a property and you spend a lot of money, then only to find out, oh no, there's a lot of red flags from the LIM report to the building report, because it says in the previous one, the first one that we were considering, it's
Mm.
so moist. The
Yeah.
moisture testing was so high. So this one was okay. Weather on that day was fine. Report relates to the day of inspection. Although that was around winter when we had it, when we looked at the property, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still good. And even up to now, I can say that, yep, we kind of got the good property. So this is one thing that you can find in the building inspection to give you an idea. If the moisture testing is high, think about it. Double check the building exterior, what type of cladding is used, and if there are cracks. Ano pa ba? The downpipes, even the plumbing, they checked everything. The drainage, and even under the property, they checked everything.
Mm. Mm.
Almost everything to give you an idea whether it's worth it to buy that property. So
Yeah.
meron bang mga buyers who would try to skip this? Because this is quite costly. 700 during that time, 2020.
I think now it's about 800,
Mm.
depending on how many bedrooms as well, ate.
So if the property is bigger, the bigger the price.
Mm,
Fair enough.
yes. And then
But
they will show what there is
the
aluminum, moisture reading.
the red ones are something
Yes.
that was highlighted. And elevated
Yeah.
moisture readings will be noted in report, otherwise appears to be normal at the time of inspection.
Yeah.
So the time of inspection, it says there, it, I bet people here are trying to be honest anyway when it comes to
Yes.
report. Because I was the one who booked for the inspection, and then they would come over they came to the property. I didn't even have to come over. So you just
Yes.
contact, they'll do it, and then they'll give you the report. And that's it.
Yes. I actually find it like good. Peace of Mind is one of the companies that I recommend. He's really
Ah,
good. I think
I
his
just
name
found
is
it
Ian.
online.
Is it Ian?
Mm.
I think I'm pretty sure it's Ian. He's a
I think
really
I,
good, honest inspector.
well, I don't mean I haven't met them in person anyway, and just look for building inspector online and
Which is
inquire as to
good
how
because
much.
then it means that, it which is good at it because then it means that the agent doesn't have connection with them. So I
Yeah.
always suggest for the buyers to book their own
Mm.
building inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that they will be on your side and not on the other
Yeah.
party's side.
Yes.
And they're quite okay so far, so good because yeah, we're happy with the house here. Although they highlighted the rubbish under the house, but we kind of shrug it off and it's like, that's all right. And I thought it's just small rubbish,
Is
but
it
there
a
were
lot?
heaps. It's quite a lot, but we were able to clear it up. I went under the house,
Put it
and
as additional as condition and request from your lawyer.
I know I should have, but we probably just got busy, and we thought it's just a
Normal
little.
rubbish.
Yeah, it's like easy, but quite a lot. And it took us maybe how many weeks putting it in the red bin. But the good
Yeah.
thing with that is that we found some stuff that we were able to use, like pots. There was even
Was it
an
a vacant possession at was it vacant when when they were marketing it, or was there someone living on it?
they were still living in it. That's why they
Oh.
negotiated the move-in date because they were still looking for a house to move to before they leave the property and hand it over to
Mm,
us. So I
mm,
reckon those rubbish were still there while they were already sitting here because it looks like really from 10 or more than 10 years ago.
mm,
It was even like a broken old TV underneath.
mm.
Not too big, but still considerably big.
Like
So yeah, this is
sometimes you can request your agent to say to your lawyer and say, I want the house cleared before settlement or before moving in. So it has to be, oh yeah, before settlement, so that you don't pay it, and then they will be able to clear that up.
I know. If only I was more educated during that time. But on
Yeah.
in property, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be very tedious when it comes to details. So yeah, I hope our listeners tonight is learning a lot from all the episodes that were
Experiences.
experiences that we've been sharing and the experts that we have invited, sharing them, giving them a lot of idea so that they're more confident in taking each step along the way in their home buying journey because
Mm.
it can be
And it's
daunting and
yes,
frustrating
and
if you don't know what you're doing
it's like you won't lose anything if you don't ask. If you ask,
if
sorry.
you ask.
If you
Yeah,
ask the agent. So the more questions you got, the more information you get, that can also be used for you to negotiating again because you're
yes,
doing your due diligence as the purchaser.
that's true. So if you have an idea what LIM report is and what red flags are you seeing there, same with the building reports. You don't have to move away from giving an offer to that property if you like it, but instead you can use it to negotiate. Like what Marianne
Yeah.
said, can it still be fixed? Can they lower the price? Those are the things you
Yes.
can ask
Yes.
them. And, but the
Because
other
of
thing,
course, ate, you, let's just say you as a vendor, you've already accepted their offer, then it means it's on the conditional period already, right? So if it's on the
mm,
conditional period, you as a vendor, you're also conditioning yourself that okay, so by the end of say end of this month, I will be paid full of the how,
mm,
the sale of my property. But then if you're trying, if the purchaser went back to you and say, hey, there's a leak in, let's just
mm,
say the shower is not sealed properly, um the purchaser can request the agent to add an additional clause to the further terms of sale. So additional clause would be, or it will be the lawyer, actually the lawyer will email the lawyer of the vendor and say, during the building inspection, building inspector has noted that the shower is doesn't have a seal, it needed to put a seal because it's leaking
mm,
out the shower. um the vendor warranty, so it's going to be an added clause, the vendor warranty that this issues will be amended and fixed prior to unconditional, so prior to getting unconditional.
yeah, that's a bonus tip or a reminder to those who really want that property. You can always
Mm.
put that clause like subject to limb and building report.
Building, yes.
Yeah, no, no.
So
Yeah.
just at note, so this is one of the very, very early lesson I learned when I was studying in real estate. Minor issues cannot be a reason to withdraw your offer. So that's the reason why you have the right as a purchaser, talk to your lawyer. The lawyer can now talk to the vendor's lawyer that either they amend it within a certain period of time prior to us vendor, a purchaser, telling we're unconditional, or advising them that we're unconditional, so they have to kind of fix something, say a, fa- a minor problems that will be noted on your building report, ate, is that if there are no light fittings. So you know how in sales and purchase
Yeah.
agreement there's chattels in there,
Yes.
that
Yes.
says light fittings, and then suddenly the inspector come to the house and they're missing lights.
Mm-hmm.
And in the terms of sale of the house is that it's not showing there, the house is selling as is, where is as is. So if
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't show in there, then it means that the vendor will have to fix that for the purchaser. So
Oh,
if the sales and purchase agreement doesn't indicate and doesn't state that it is as is where is, it means as is where is ate, is it means that as a vendor, ito
yeah.
na talagang bebenta ko 'to ng ganito. Wala akong kailangang ayusin, wala akong kailangang
Yes. Mm,
remedyohan. I'm selling it like this. Merong karapatan si purchaser to go back to the vendor, "Hey, you didn't put it in your sales and purchase agreement that it's selling as is where is, and you're stating that you have light fittings, but then in your living room there are at least 5, 6 bulbs that's not even working. So you have to fix
mm.
that before I actually really do unconditional. If you don't, so if days pass that it doesn't, then you can withdraw your offer.
Yeah. Yep. That's why if you want to pursue this path, you got to stay smart and stay, what do you call it, knowledgeable, maybe. Stay smart
Yes, yeah,
and don't rush
informed,
into
knowledgeable.
buying. Don't rush into buying a property without doing your homework. It can be a big headache if something happens. Although that very seldom happens in New Zealand, most people here are really honest, but you can never tell over time. Some people are just, or maybe other people just miss some details and you'll suffer the consequence for not doing your homework as well.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, what about our plan for the celebration for you?
Oh yeah. When are
Are we
you?
having?
Well, this Saturday, ate, we have a very busy weekend. We have our D group Bible study, and then Sunday, of course, church. But next week,
We'll just announce it once we have finalized the date. Yeah.
Yes, yes, please.
Let's look forward to
And then
that.
at least, yeah, and at least if
Facebook
we
catch
have
up.
some listener at the end viewers who want to join in for that, like we can kind of like, and they're looking into purchasing a house, I'd
Yep.
love to share, information
Mhm.
as well. And
And we're
yeah,
going to invite those people that we have invited online so you can meet them in person and get specific advice straight away from them, because some of our viewers are just too shy to ask online, especially because they don't want to be known to be onto that journey. Some people just want to keep it secret until they get it. Yeah,
yes.
that's understandable.
They don't want to preempt it.
Yeah. Baka masira pa ang plan. Anyway, thanks so much for staying tuned with us, for watching or even replaying this one. Please save this, or I think it's going to be deleted by Facebook anyway anytime soon. So just jump onto our YouTube channel playlist. Lucky we have that folder there, so you can always go back and play all the episodes that you might have missed or the ones that you want to watch again to get information, so uh, you stay smart in your decision. And if you have questions, feel free to comment or message us. We'd love to hear from you, and we would love to really support you anyway, reaching out to our experts that we have invited. It's free, so grab that opportunity. Thanks so much, Miriam, and thank you, everyone. Have
Exactly.
a blessed week. Takite.